Char siu, literally translating as fork roast. The overview of today's video includes creating the sauce base, slow cooking our pork for 6 to 8 hours, then serving over any old ramen noodles. Can't get much simpler than that. Stick around to see the step-by-step instructions for how to make a killer slow cooker noodle recipe inspired by the famous Chinese barbecue dish. But for now, let's hear what this guy has to say.
Hi there y'all, my name is Tom and this is Empty Pantry Entrees, a place where you can learn all the skills you need to make delicious creations from only the odds and ends you have in your pantry. And today we're making slow cooker Char Siu Pork. And before I get any grief from anybody in the comments section or on Reddit, let me be the first to say this. This is not a traditional version of the dish. Instead, we're going to be doing a slow cooker adaptation of Char Siu Pork. And this is so that we can get a lot of the amazing flavors that come with the traditional Chinese barbecue dish without all of the work that's associated with it. Eventually, I promise we're going to get around to making a Char Siu Pork recipe here on this channel, but for now, if you want to see a more traditional version of Char Siu Pork, I would definitely recommend seeing Joshua Weissman's channel. I'll leave a link below in the description if you want to check it out. But with all of that said, I think it's about time for us to get to this.
Starting things off today, bring out your slow cooker that always seems to be in the hardest spot to reach in your cabinet. Dust her off and let's begin the process of assembling the sauce base. First up is the honey to add the majority of the sweetness to the dish. We're gonna scoop in about a half a cup of the stuff, and it doesn't matter what brand you work with as long as it comes in the shape of a bear. And look at him, he's so cute, holding all that honey he didn't even produce. Next up is the hoisin sauce. Again, about half a cup of it. Follow that by a quarter cup of soy sauce to add the salt to the dish. Next up then is a quarter cup of ketchup to add a subtle hint of tomato. And then next up is the minced garlic, about 2 heaping tablespoons of it. Thereafter we're gonna add in rice vinegar, which again calls for about 2 tablespoons. And then follow that by 1 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice. Finally, you're gonna grate in 1 knob of ginger, and be careful not to nick your fingers on the microplane when you get down to the nub. Not that I know that from experience. And now, I hear ya, that was a whole lot of ingredients real quick, but listen, that's all the work you gotta do for the next 6 to 8 hours. For the meat, I've got about 2 pounds of pork loin nestled in and coated in the sauce. This will easily make enough pork for about 6 to 8 servings. Make sure that it's well sauced up and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Cover with a lid, set to a low temperature, and be on your merry way about your day. Unless you're like me, who about 2 hours into the slow cook forgot to include one of the most staple ingredients. Gochujang, a sweet and spicy red chili paste to give the meat some of its signature red tint. And yes, for those attentive viewers out there, gochujang is Korean, not Chinese. Furthermore, we should probably be using fermented red bean curd to make this closer to the Chinese dish, but gochujang is what I had in my fridge, so yeah. After you get some satisfying water droplet races and 6 to 8 hours have passed, shred your pork with 2 forks. This sauce is incredibly flavorful, so all of the other portions of the dish are going to be relatively plain to bring balance to the dish. That's why we're using plain old dollar store ramen. It works perfectly in this dish. Now, I hope that I don't have to teach y'all how to make ramen, but as a crash course for those who need it, boil an indiscriminate amount of water. Then, I'm actually going to siphon off a bit of water to make a small batch of veggie broth from a spoonful of better than bouillon paste. I'm doing this instead of using the flavor packet that they typically include with ramen. Once boiling, drop your bricks of noodle in, and then toss around in the hot water. Also, true fact, but ramen tastes better when you cook it with chopsticks. Strain the noodles, and then make a pile of carbs in the center of your ultimate serving dish. For final assembly, ladle in a bit of the veggie broth to serve as a base, followed by a few scoops of the Char Siu Pork. Some crushed peanuts for a bit of texture difference, and because, they just taste good. And then following that, non-optionally, a big pinch of chopped cilantro. After that, sparingly, you're going to want to sprinkle in a bit of lime juice over it all just to cut through some of the richness. And finally, you're going to drizzle just a bit of sesame oil over it to finish things off. Personally, I then like to ladle in just a touch more broth into the bowl to break up the oil into droplets and distribute them more evenly throughout the dish. And I mean, wow, does that look good. I don't know about all of you, but making this dish has brought a whole new level of flavor to slow cooking for me. The crazy part about this is that there is so much intense flavors in the meat and the sauce that the garnish is really powerful in rounding things out. It truly creates a unique balance of savory, sweet, a touch of spicy, and an all-around fantastic meal. For how little effort went into this, you really can't beat this recipe. And if you've come this far, I just want to say thank you so much. Give this recipe a try and let me know how it goes. I love hearing from you when these recipes turn out well. And if you want to support me as a growing creator, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.